Well, first things first. This is from the author that brought you the New York Times bestseller book, that is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which comes as a guide to prioritizing your personal and professional goals. Most of us struggle from prioritizing personal and professional things, right? So today we'll be learning the techniques and to how to overcome, how to prioritize our tasks that can lead us to a stress-free life. In First Things First, Stephen Covey tells us about categorizing tasks by urgency and importance so that you can focus on what needs to be done in the limited amount of time that you have. It is my honor today to be introducing Dr. Jyoti Maheshwari. Dr. Jyoti is a transformational trainer. She is an emotional alchemist. She's a personality enhancement coach. She is a stress management specialist, a psychiatrist, and a psychotherapist. She has over 2 decades of experience in training teenagers, young adults, parents, and even the elderly people. She encourages people to cultivate and sustain a holistic and a mindful way of living in all stages of life. Being an adopter in her life itself, her mantra has always been the saying of Gandhi, be the change that you want to see. Dr. Jyoti is a certified master trainer and alumni from the Indian Academy of Training and Development, which we all are from, IITD. She is a postgraduate of psychological medicine from the esteemed Grand Medical College in Mumbai and specialist in employee counseling. She has added many feathers to her cap with certified courses in the field of Reiki therapy, hypnosis, and past life regression therapy. Well, on the professional front, she has conducted workshops and seminars for some of the biggest corporate houses, including HUL, Oracle, Tata Consultancy Services, HDFC, Indigo Airlines, and JNPT. She has also been a lecturer at her alma mater, GMC Mumbai. Her sessions and workshops are always interactive, interesting, informative, and thought-provoking. In the field of voluntary community services, I must say she has had a long-standing association with various non-profit organizations, and she has been helping around the elderly homes and orphanages also, where she has offered her services and care for 15 years. She runs an awareness program called Swaman, Swachman, Swachtan, Swastman.
Vachaman Swastham.
Swast, right?
Vachaman
Swastman
Swastham.
and Man. This is a campaign started for creating awareness about mental and emotional health. She firmly endorses acceptance, unconditional love, and mindfulness are the best healers in the world. So let us welcome Dr. Jyoti to Books and Beyond for a session. Thank you, Dr. Jyoti.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vijay. Thank you for that lovely introduction and for giving this opportunity to me to share, to have this book review and have interaction with you all. And thank you to all of you also to be here, so that I can do this, my first session on book review. I'll just start my screen sharing. Okay. You can see it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it. We
Yes,
can.
we can see it, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Right. So this is like, I myself am very, very much in love with the books. I like books very much. I myself am an avid reader. So when first time I came to know about this club, earlier book club, now Books and Beyond, and when I joined it, I was really happy that, Vijay has taken this initiative and he started something like this. And from that day itself, I thought of, having someday I would also do some book review. But when time came, actually, when we spoke, like me and Vijay, so I was at loss. I didn't know which book to choose from. It was very difficult to decide. There were so many books which I felt, oh, I should talk about this, I should talk about this. But then I was little confused. But in the end, I zeroed it down to this book. First thing first. You may wonder why. Maybe it's my liking for the word first. I'm the first child. I used to be first in the school, all my from first to 10th. This is also my first book review, right? So yeah, it's not like, okay, that is not the only reason that title is also there. But this book is actually, uh, I'm really, really kind of, you can say, in love with it. Obviously, I can't say it's my first love because I was already married when I first read this book. Okay. So, though this book, there's another book by Stephen Covey, and which is much more popular and it's internationally bestseller. All of you must be knowing about it, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That is being very well known, but still, the first time I read of Stephen Covey is this book, The First Thing First. It so happened around like maybe 24 years back when I was going to start my practice. And that time I met my teacher, my guru, Dr. Parikh, to get some tips, about the private practice. It's little different from what we learn into the institution and in our college. So during our conversation, in one of the conversation, he mentioned, we were talking about time management, and he mentioned about these 4 quadrants, and he mentioned about this book. So curiosity was there, and I just went and found this book, First Thing First, and read it. Not to say that once I read this book, then obviously afterwards I got all other books of Stephen Covey. All of you must be knowing about Stephen Covey, but just for those who may not have the idea, he was really a great author. He was a businessman, but at the same time, he was very great motivational and inspirational speaker as well. And he has n number of books on his name. Right? So out of that, First Thing First being another famous book from him. Right. So this book basically, if you see, is focused on time management, as most of us we know. He talks about time management, but I would say that this book is not just the book in itself. It's actually a complete workshop on time management, because there are so many examples, so many exercises he has given, and a lot of worksheets are there. I would suggest like each and every one of us should have this book. I have gone through this book so many times. I've referred, I've applied in my personal life, and I use so many techniques in my professional life, and which has given tremendous results also. So it's really a very great book. What does it talk about? If I have to say a basic, the theme of it is basically what it talks is not about, though it's about time management, but it's not restricted to that. Okay. It goes beyond, and it talks more of a leadership, personal leadership. In what way? He mentions about not just doing, things rightly, but doing right things. That is what, if I have to put it in one line, not doing things rightly, but doing right things. That is what is the main theme or main philosophy of this book. And as I said, it goes beyond, it works on personal leadership. It helps in bringing in the paradigm shift. That shift is from urgency to importance. All of us are mainly driven by the urgency. So shifting from urgency to importance, from efficiency to effectiveness, and from personality development to the character development. This was one of the points which also I liked very much about this book. It talks like in today's time when everyone is out there to just, have that show, the quick fixes, and show it on the personality, all the personality ethics. But here he talks little more deeper, going into deep and developing your character as such. Now, this paradigm shift, this book, how it comes. This book has a 15 chapters into it, which are divided into 4 sections. Okay. Each and every word from this book, starting from first line to the last, I would say each and every word is very meaningful. So obviously in, this 45 minutes, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to cover it up and how much justice I would be able to do it. So I thought of just taking 4 chapters instead of 15 chapters from it. Why that number 4, you will also come to know that there is everywhere you will find those four things in his book. So I also chose only 4 chapters. Okay. So first is, it has been divided into 4 sections, as you can see. The section 1, which talks about the clock and the compass, very famous, it has become the compass part of it. Second is, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And third is the synergy of interdependence. And last section talks about the power and peace of principle-centered living. So let's see what each section talk about. So as I said, why that 4 number? So there is a 4 section, and he talks about 4th generation of time management. He gives us 4 quadrants of time management, and he also talks about 4 human needs and 4 human endowments. So all these number 4, so make it complete. I also thought of choosing only 4 chapters from it. So the first chapter, which is how many people on their deathbed wish they would have spent more time at the office. Actually, in this, what he does is he kinds of set up at the background, and he introduces the subject of time management, where he has given very beautifully, he has spoken about all different generation. He talks about first generation, second generation, third generation of time management. It's not just criticizing, or he's not trying to point the trying to find out the fault from it, but he has put it in thoroughly. And what he has tried to do is take all the positive points from all these 3 generations and put it together and add some extra. And that's how he has given us the 4th generation of time management. So obviously, to know it little more in detail, we'll just quickly go through what all those 3 generations he is talking about it. Because it's very important to understand, if we are trying to do something new, like if you get also some new machinery or something, we have to innovate something. We need to know what are the functions of earlier, what is lacking into it, what we have to provide. Right. So first generation, he says, is generally about the to-do list. You make the list, whatever is then in front of it, you go with the flow. While second generation, there is much more planning and preparation. It's not only putting it number wise, 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks, but it's more of a planning and preparation. But in this generation, the first thing is mainly people get carried away by the calendar and goals. They are very strict with the timing. The third generation is prioritizing and controlling, where the first thing is about the values, about the goals, how they prioritize everyone. He talks very highly about this third generation, but obviously there are also certain drawbacks into it. And that's why he thought of introducing the 4th generation of time management. Now, I have try to put the salient features of this 4th generation, what he is trying to give it to us through his idea of time management. So according to him, it's always important to put the people ahead of schedule. Not go by your schedules, but it's about the people. Because again, his whole approach is very holistic. It's not only about one thing. It's not about only work. It's not only about time, but it's in totality about your life. So he says, put people ahead of schedule. He says that people, you should take it as a resources and not as an obstacle or liability. Okay. There should be the interaction between 2 people or transaction. It should not be transactional basis, rather it should be more of a transformation. So when 2 people are meeting, it should be more of a transformation, how together we can bring in transformation in each other. Then he also talks about compass ahead of clock, more than important. See, clock is something which talks about time, appointments, commitment, while compass talks more, focuses on vision. It's about our conscience, it's about our principle, okay, which gives us right direction. And that's why he says compass is much more important tool when it comes to time management. Thirdly, he is talking about the meaning and contribution ahead of achievement. See, all of us, somewhere or other, we always think of achieving something. Maybe it's scholastically, in the school, colleges, we want to achieve, have a higher rank. In life, we want to achieve, once we start earning, achieve X amount of earning. Okay, we want to achieve so many things in relationship everywhere. Says it's more than achievement. You need to focus onto the meaning. What gives meaning in your life and what you can contribute to society. So that's very important. So rather than just focusing on achievement, you should also have the focus on meaning and purpose in your life. And obviously, the fourth point is character before the competence. It's not only competence. Yeah, definitely one has to be competent if you want to do something and you want to do it successfully. It's very much required. But somewhere if you just focus on competence, there's a lot of competition also which comes into the picture. So more than that, he says character is required, because if you focus on achievement and we just try to become competent, there are chances that we may put someone down, we climb on other shoulders and move ahead. So that is what is not really recommended by him. Then fifth point he talks about is more of an interdependence rather than independence. It's not only about me, myself. I'm not just focusing on myself, but how I can work together with other people and how I can take them along with me, how I can make change in their life, and I also learn from them and bring in change in my life. So its interdependence is very important. And obviously when we have to have that, maybe we can call it as a team management something. So only not that team management, but also the leadership, or not only the time management, also the leadership, the personal leadership, what he gives lot of importance to it. So all these features, obviously, when we think of anywhere, any kind of other, techniques which talk about time management, none of them consider so many different points and such a holistic outlook or approach, I should say. So that's like beauty of this book, which gives you one book and it gives you all. Now in second chapter he talks about urgency addiction. If whoever have read the books, they will know it, but the people who haven't read, maybe it's surprise element for them. They may think, oh, what's this urgency addiction? What Stephen Covey says is, in life, whatever we have to do, we always have choice. We make a choice, anything which we have to do. And most of the time, majority of the time, our choices are driven by the urgency of it. We somewhere get our focus gets shifted to the urgency. We like that excitement, that adrenaline thrill, the adrenaline rush which is there. It gives a lot of excitement when you are pressed for the time, you're doing, running around, doing so many things, trying to put so many things in that limited time. So it's a lot of excitement which is there, a lot of energy which is there. Right? But what happens, we start getting so used to it that we get addicted to it. Even if there's nothing, like, okay, if there is some vacuum, or there is not some of a work which is there, we start feeling that void, that emptiness in us. So we are always looking for something, some firefighting to be done, because that gives us some false sense of being useful. We feel we are useful, we get that validated feeling from others as well. But in this whole process, we pay a lot of cost as in our health also, sometimes even our relationship also. The health, obviously physical and mental, and when being a psychiatrist, obviously my more focus is on mental health, like stress which is goes there. So all the people who go through this urgency addiction, they suffer a lot of psychosomatic illnesses also. So how to overcome this urgency addiction? And one point I would like to make, in his book, he gives very nice one questionnaire which is there. So if you go through that questionnaire, you come to know where do you stand in this urgency addiction, how addicted you are. And to overcome that urgency addiction, he has given in detail this matrix, 4-quadrant matrix. Obviously, this is the Eisenhower's matrix. First, it was designed by him. He was the 34th president of US, but it has been made very popular by Stephen Covey from his book. Right? So this quadrant, obviously, most of us, we know, okay, all of us somewhere or other, we have gone through it, we have heard about it. We know all this, that first quadrant deals with the urgent, important. Second is not so urgent, but important. And Stephen Covey also emphasizes that majority of the time, our time should go in quadrant 2. While what we are doing is generally we are rushing from quadrant 1 to 3. This is where we lot of time spend our time, and maybe sometime we go into quadrant 4, which is completely useless, not urgent, not important. Now, for my own understanding, I have given some 4 different names. See if you find useful. When I talk to the people and when I explain this matrix, I always say this first quadrant is of do. You always need to do in this quadrant. If you are there, whatever activities you have put in this quadrant, you have to keep doing. You need to perform immediately. It's an action packed quadrant. So do, that doing is here. While second is not important, I mean, not urgent, but important. So here the designing part, your planning, what you have to do, planning, preparation, everything goes here. So this is a designing. The third quadrant, which is not important but urgent. Stephen Covey says majority of the time it is like, it is urgent for other people. So it's kind of a deception which is there. So I put it here as a delegation. Lot of activities which comes in this quadrant, we can delegate it to other people. And the fourth quadrant, which is not so urgent and not important, delete. It has to be completely wiped off from there shouldn't be any activity. Okay, whatever we feel, maybe some people have misconception that this is very relaxing, whatever activity we do here. But if you see here, it's not that, it's not actually relaxation. It is a waste of time. Actual relaxation comes into the second quadrant. That is a true recreation which energizes us. So this is what is the 4 quadrant. It's a kind of a main theme of this book. Everything revolves around this quadrant. Right. That brings us to the third. Now, when we have spoken about that 4 quadrant matrix, how to decide onto it, what things should go into quadrant 1, what should go into the quadrant 2, and what in third and fourth. For that, he has spoken into the these 2 chapters. So third chapter is, title itself is very nice, and you can keep it as your mantra in life all the time: to live, to love, to learn, to leave a legacy. What does he mean by this? Okay. Here he is talking about 4 human needs, the basic 4 human needs, fulfillment of these needs. He is also talking about reality of true north principle, and he talks about potentiality of 4 human endowments. Okay. So in this third chapter, he's talking about all these 3 things. Let's find out what are those 3 things. So 4 human needs. As I said, the title itself is self-explanatory. What does it mean? To live means it is about our physical needs, what we need for survival, the food, earning, everything. Okay. So that is what is a physical need, which is very important. Obviously, we need to give time to it. The second is to love, the social need, to relate to the people. Okay. To love to the other people, to help other people, and to be loved by the people. This is a social need. As we say, human being is a social animal. So we definitely have the social need, which also needs to be fulfilled. To learn is a mental need, to develop, to grow. We always, every day we are learning something new or other, and we have to have that fulfillment. Fourth is to leave a legacy. It's a spiritual need. What does exactly a spiritual need is? Whatever we have got, what we can give it back to the society, leave a legacy. What is our contribution to the society? So what he is saying is, it should be all the 4 needs should be combined, and it's not in separate compartment. It has to be overlapping. All these 4 needs should be into the synergy, and then only you work from there. See, we always talk, if we want to do something in life, there has to be that fire, fire in the belly kind of thing. But that fire is always driven by our desire. We want to get something in life. And for that, we are running, rushing. We are just going ahead, doing whatever activity we are doing to get something. While here, Stephen Covey says that this fire should be, fire within should come. by saying that how we can transform all these our needs to capacity, those capacities to contribute to society. So not to get, but to give. And this is really a beautiful concept. If we start learning or focusing on this, we'll find so much of change. We get so much of a satisfaction and peace in our life. At the same time, we are motivated to go ahead and do a lot of work in the life. But this has to be, that fire has to be for contribution, not for getting something from the people. So after these four needs, he's talking about the north principle, true north principle. So what exactly is true north? Is it just someone's opinion, someone's value idea, or is it fixed reality? He talks here in True North, he talks about the compass, which gives us right direction. He's explained very beautifully by two examples. I'll just quickly say that. What he says is, when we are, suppose, traveling somewhere, okay, he has mentioned the example of Detroit. He says you have to reach in some place in Detroit and you are really driving fast and with all the positive attitude. But with the map of Chicago. So whatever you may do, are you going to land up in the place what you have decided? It's not possible, right? Because that direction is only not right. The map what you're having is not right. So that is what that shift has to be required. And that paradigm shift what we are talking about, or this compass, is where it helps us to give the right direction. When this is directed from the principles of our life. Okay. So when we are talking about this reality, the principles, what are there in life, he's not talking about any religion per se, or not any kind of rituals in life, or not even the personal values. Personal values, like he has spoken very much in detail in his other book about these values. Some people value money, some value power, some value family, some value even work or enemy also he has written, all those centers which are there. But when we talk about true north, it's not about even those values, but it is about the north principle. It is about the life principles of life, which he has explained very beautifully with the law of farm. What does this law of farm says actually? That whenever we are sowing any seeds, tell me, can we just put the seed and then say, okay, first today I have sown the seeds and tomorrow I'm going to get the crop? No, not possible, right? It is going to take its own time, right? So it's not going to have that cramming. He talks about cramming, another what many times we have done in our schools. The whole year maybe we are doing all the time pass and enjoying and everything, and towards the end when exam is there, the first day we are sitting with the book and trying to cram up the whole thing. So that cannot be applied into the life. In life what we need to apply is a law of farm, that everything takes its own time. We need to give that needed time for it. And he also explains that how there is a need for gardener. He has given example of one of the person who wants to have a beautiful garden, but he says then he does not have time to look after it. Put something on automatic machine. So that's not possible in life. If we want to achieve something, any of those four needs, whether it's a physical need, you want to have a good body, good strength, or you want to develop some skill mentally, or you want to have the good relationship, or you want to contribute to the society, any kind of a need, you need to give that time. You have to do the cultivation, you need to do the watering to your farm or to your garden to get that beautiful garden. Just sowing seeds is not important. So very important principle which we have to always keep in mind and follow it in our life. Once we do that, then definitely we are going to be very having fulfillment, I should say, not only achieving success. And then he's talking about this 4 human endowments. All those needs, how we need to develop. So he's talking about this 4 thing, that is self-awareness, conscience, independent will, and creative imagination. What is self-awareness is our own capacity to look at our own thought process, thinking process. What is the script? What we are doing in life? Where is our focus? All that is self-awareness. He has given this technique as a journaling is going to be a beautiful technique to be more self-aware. The second is conscious, which is more of our inner guide, our inner voice, we may call it. So how do we develop this conscious? It gives us the right direction. What we are talking about, the compass, which always point towards north, right? Wherever we are, the compass always points towards the north. So similarly, our conscious, our inner guide always gives us the right direction. How we can develop is just being by listening, and that listening is sitting quietly, something like a meditation, I would say. What we in our Hindu scriptures and all this philosophy, they also talk about it. So having that meditation, by that you learn to develop it and listen to your inner guide. It will never take you on wrong path. Then he mentions about independent will. What is this independent will? Is its capacity to act on something. It's also to develop that integrity, something what we decide and we also follow. So how we can do it? By making and keeping promises. It's not only to others, even to ourselves. He has given example of one of his participants where he was conducting workshop, and this fellow, he had lot of issues in life. He said, he given him idea that you just make promise to yourself that from tomorrow you are going to get up on the time what you decide. Just do that every day. And slowly how that has brought change in his life, he has explained that in his book very beautifully. That only one activity in the morning, that has changed the whole thing. So this is about developing your own integrity. And third is fourth is creative imagination, where we have this power to envision, to look forward, look beyond today, what is going to be there in the future. And that we can help to complete whatever is our vision, our mission for our life. And this endowment we can develop by visualization technique. So these are the 4 human endowments, and about this he talks in detail. Why I thought of mentioning it here, because this is kind of a basic structure on which the whole book is based. Everything he's talking around all these 4 factors, the 4 quadrant, 4 needs and 4 endowments, how all of them have been utilized to develop that mission and to have that fulfillment into the life. That brings us to the 4th chapter, which talks about the quadrant 2 organizing. This is the process. Okay, we have seen that quadrant 4, but how exactly do we operate that? How do we put it into the practice in life? So this chapter itself actually has given in nutshell the whole process. He has put it into 6 steps. Actually, these are the 4 chapters, but remaining chapters, each step has been described in detail, in depth in the consecutive chapters, like chapter 5th, 6th, and 7th, and so on forth. Okay, so we're going to talk about these 6 steps. What are these 6 steps? Is the step 1 is connect with your vision and mission. So first you need to have that mission statement. In this book, in the end of the book, he has given a complete worksheet, and there are almost, I think, 40 questions or something, with the help of which you can have your own mission statement. Okay. And once you have that mission statement, then second step he talks about is identifying your roles in life. Third is selecting quadrant 2 goals in each role. It's not only general, but in each role it can be separate. The 4th step is decision-making framework. The 5th is exercising that integrity in the moment, and 6th is evaluate. I'm just listing it out because I'll be talking about each one of them in little detail. So first is having this mission. So how do we do that? We have to ask few questions to ourselves, that what is it that is very important in our life? What gives meaning to us? What gives meaning to me in my own life? Where would I like to see at the end of my life? Maybe somewhere he talks about 80th birthday. Visualize how you're going to be and what you would like people to think about you. So keeping all this in mind, you have to develop your mission statement. This is very important because from here only everything follows. Because see, whatever is your mission, all your activities should be directed towards that. Not that you have mission something, maybe work related or maybe family related, you want to improve relationship, but you are just doing the activities which are your work related. So always you have to follow whatever is your mission and what is your vision in life. Then second is identifying roles. Now here in roles also, he says that you need to categorize, make it separate. It's not only like professional or family man, not like that. You have to, again, in family also divide it, your father, mother, or your brother, sister, daughter, whatever. So all these roles also you need to separate it out. Or even in the work, whether you are into managerial role, whether you are into CEO, or whatever is your role, again divide into different. By this is not trying to compartmentalize, but making it very specific so that it becomes easier to identify what is more important for that particular role. So it works really very beautifully when you start putting it into the practice, you put it on the paper, it really helps you. It gives you a lot of clarity and it makes life very simple. As I said, in each role, again, we may have, for this particular role, we have to do, say, 4 activities. Okay, but what are those activities? So in that also find out what is quadrant 2, what is most important for you. That is very important, not just looking at whatever is urgent. So identifying what is that quadrant 2 in that particular role, you have to put that, identify it and put it on the paper, the goals which are there. And these goals have to be principle based again, okay, not on your emotion based. It has to be on the principle based. Step 4 is creating decision making framework for the week. This he has explained very well. Many of you must have seen, I suppose, that one activity, the experiment, where there's a jar, there are big rocks which are there, then there are small pebbles, and there is a sand and water. So you have to put everything in that jar. So what you're going to put it first? If you put the water first, obviously everything won't come into it. But if you follow one sequence where you put the first big rock, then the small pebble, then sand, and then water, everything can be put in that one jar itself. So with this experiment, he explains that all these quadrant 2 activities are like those big stones, which needs to be put first. So he talks that it should not be, we have to prioritize our schedules. We should put our priority should be scheduled. So first we should decide what are priorities, and that we should put it in our schedule. And while making schedule, he also he gives lot of importance to sharpening saw. Again, whoever have read this his other book, they will know it. That is one habit he has put it separately, sharpening saw. Taking that time out. So when we are putting our goals, or we are dividing or putting our weekly sheet, we have to give some time to sharpen the saw. What is that sharpening saw? Is just improving and sharpening our all the capacities, whether it's a mental, physical, whatever we are doing. He has explained with that one story. I don't think so we have time, and most of you must have read that story of a woodcutter, who keeps cutting his wood with the same sword every day, and over a period, first day he do a lot of work, but second day, third day, his work output starts going down. And why it happens? Because he has not taken time to sharpen his saw. And that advice is given by some another wise man to him, and once he does that, his productivity again increases. So something same we have to do in our life. So in every day, every weekly planner, we have to put that time for sharpening our saw every day. And the 5th step, what he talks about, is exercising integrity in the moment. So it is not just you make a big plan, you have the big mission, the big picture which is there. you also need to apply that every day, every moment when we are choosing. So in moment, that choice, what we have to make, okay, what that choice, it has to depend on our wisdom. We have to learn to identify what is that first thing in that moment. Many times when something which is not really good, which is bad and which is good, it's easier. But the difficulty comes, as he puts it, there is a difficulty between something better and something good. So when, in psychology we talk it as a attachment conflict. Attachment avoidance conflict is easier. Something which you are attached to, you'll go for that, and what you want to avoid, you will avoid that. But attachment conflict is little difficult. So that's where, when you have your mission, you are completely aligned with your principles towards your truth north, then it becomes easier to take these decisions in every moment. And last is evaluation. Okay. Obviously, what is very important here is, every week when we are doing it, we have to see what goals actually we have been able to achieve, or what challenges we have faced, what difficulties did we get, which are the factors which we are missing out. So it's a kind of a stock taking, whatever has been happening, and learning from that past, because unless until we learn, we are not going to get into that upward spiral, uh, growth of learning and living our life which is fulfilled. So to complete my this 444 number, I would put it in nutshell, what 4 lessons, what I have learned. I mean, each one of us can take different lessons from it. It's really a great book. Uh, Many of you must have read it. If whoever have not read, definitely should read it. But for me, what 4 important lessons I have learned from this book is focusing on the things which are really important, not just for urgent. There will be, definitely there will be things which are urgent. See, however we may be particular, however how many precautions we take it, and we make real good planning, okay, still life will have its own way, and there will be certain things which are happening in our life which are beyond our control. So those urgent things will come up. And that's why Stephen Covey talks about having some time when we are planning our week, in that chart, we need to have some time, some in between the leeway. It shouldn't be kind of a cement packed. That's the word what he used. We should have that time in between. So there is little bit flexibility to accommodate anything, any such things, untowardly urgent things which happens. But in general, we have to keep our focus on what is important to our life, and not just keep doing firefighting all the time, not let the things go to that urgency level. That's very important lesson. The second lesson is interdependence and cooperation. As I said, we are humans, we are social human beings. We have to be together, with the people. There are so many people who keep rushing, performing really good, and they keep climbing ladders after ladders of success and achieving so many things. But when they reach at the top, they realize they are alone. There's no one with them. So in that competition, to just leave everyone behind, we remain alone completely. So focus on interdependence and cooperation, go together hand in hand with everyone. The third very important lesson, as I also said in the beginning, I like the synergistic and holistic attitude. It's not, we are not looking at life at compartmentalized. It's, this is my physical part, or this is my professional part, or this is my personal part. Everywhere it is going to be intermingling with each other. Because he says that when we are earning, okay, so it's not only looking at as earning, how much I'm going to earn, but if we have in mind, I also need to contribute to society. And then it is going to be really going hand in hand. I'm not just looking at contribution also, and I'm just not looking at my earning also. I think of both things together and see how well I can do in my life. And last lesson, what I find is really great, is not more than achieving something. What we have to focus on, what gives meaning to our life. Even Here, I have also learned this lesson from another psychiatrist, neuropsychiatrist, Viktor Frankl. Many of you must have heard. He also talks about this, man's search for the meaning in life. So he could survive that Nazi camp just because he thought there is some mission in his life, which he has to still fulfill. And that's why he could go through all the tortures of that camp. So that meaning is very important, and Stephen Covey gives a lot of importance to this particular point in his book, First Thing First. So these are the 4 lessons for me, which I really feel very good, very important, and they have really helped me. So I would just end my thing by the last line, which is there in this book, which says, nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of principles. So always believe in yourself and live the life of principle oriented. So that's all from me. Um, Friends,
Beautiful session.
thank you very much for patient listening.
Very nice topic.
Hope I haven't shooted the time and I could do the justice.
There was no time at all.
Time management people cannot go beyond time, right? So
yeah, you are
they're
right
very
on
brilliant.
time. You are right on the dot.
First thing first, it was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic, madam. Fantastic. Even though it is only 4th chapter, it looks as if you have explained the whole book. Very nice.
Absolutely.
Some powerful
Very
lessons
true.
to take. Really
Yeah,
beautiful.
from my side, the concept you have presented, those have been really beautiful, especially the concept for the campus, finding your true north, is so much applicable in our life. And you have presented everything very elegantly so that we can observe. Thanks a lot. Wonderful session.
Thank you. My whole aim was that only, that I, kind of touch upon all the important points. I don't miss out on any important learnings from it. At the same time, it doesn't go like overboard, So
The
It
4
was
quadrants
simplistic.
even the 4 quadrants was like a revision for us. We actually had it in ITD session also, one of the ITD sessions.
right.
It was one of the activity.
Right.
I remember.
Yeah.
Very powerful concept.
While I have not read the book, but from whatever I heard, I think few says borrowed from his previous book, 7 Habits,
Yeah.
like sharpening your saw and other things.
Right.
So,
Even First Thing First is also the 3rd habit in
Yeah.
this book. Yeah.
okay.
So many
Beginning
things
with the end
he
in
has
mind
taken
is the
from
first.
7 Habits. Most of the things it is from 7 Habits.
That's what we do in our kitchen. If we prepare something is left out, we make some new dish the other day. So Stephen Covey has been doing this.
So like me and Jay were discussing the other day. Okay, these books are quite powerful and very important for each one of us to adopt what exactly we are learning and how are we going to implement it in our life. Okay, so
Right.
these chapters, no, we can make it like a workshop. Probably one chapter and then a 15 minutes workshop for everybody. All right. So in that way, the concept that we are talking, right, will directly go in the head, and if they practice, there'll be some takeaways for them which they can use it day to day. So I'll certainly contact you, Doctor. So for this workshop that we are going to design shortly, because many audience are joining the club who are avid readers, who are not also, but at least they are interested to hear what is happening in this book club, so they can learn a lot of things from this. Okay, so we are planning to have a kind of a workshop structure. I'll get back to you on this, ma'am.
That is certainly moving beyond books.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rajesh
Yeah.
bhai, for you, and Rajesh bhai, for this book club, the one more discussion was, I know you are a very good orator. Your delivering of the content is really, it will be too humorous and and powerful also at the same time. So we decided, like, no, we can even give reviews of nice movies. good movie.
Oh, yes.
It
Yes,
can be a Bollywood movie or it can be a Hollywood movie where there is some takeaway from that movie. That can also be a kind of a narration in this. All right, and even the blogging also. We are going to slowly start with the blogging, how to do blogging, how to create the blogging, and maybe there might be wonderful content in Quora and all. So if at all you're interested in one of the topic there, you can even narrate those things also.
yeah. Present. As we were talking about this book, let me give my review of Dr. Jyoti's. Then you'll say, "Yeah, Suraj ko kya agarbatti dikha." But this definitely was time management, and we know what is procrastination, meaning keeping for essay. Okay, but somehow I now in this 1 year I have felt time is not that important. I'm sure you don't have shoes with you, otherwise you would have thrown at me. Trust me, time is not that important. All of us have 24 hours with us. Someone is trying to say something. Okay, so all of us have that 24 hours. Why do few people succeed and why not everyone succeed with the same 24 hours? So to me, the most important factor is focus. And if you actually focus, you can make that time the most profitable or fruitful time as against anyone else. So when we're discussing this, I'm reminded of a story that I read a few days back about Alexander the Great. When he was a child and his father was a king of that place, Egypt and that area. So there was a horse which was very uncontrollable, and the best of best men were trying to overpower the horse, but they couldn't. So Alexander was like 15, 16. He started laughing. Why can't they control this horse? His father said, "Are you a joker or something?" That horse is one of the most strongest horses that we have in our army. And the person who is trying to negotiate with that was also one of the strongest soldiers. But Alexander was observing that horse for 10 minutes. He said, "No, let me get a chance." So what he did, he focused. Then he realized this horse was disciplined throughout. Why is he out of control now? What had happened, there was a sun at the back. So horse was scared seeing his own shadow. So what Alexander did, he turned this horse to the other side, facing the sun. And then he sat and he wrote. So the difference brought by Alexander is focus. He focused on certain things. Trust me, everything is so simple. We make it very complex. And this is what lean practices. This is what Six Sigma is. Keep it simple. Trust me, everything will be fine. And that's my story. And by the way, when after India's victory, when Alexander was going back home, two things happened. This horse died, and one of his other lover died. And in those days, it was okay to have male lovers also. Alexander's male lover died, and because of these two deaths in span of short duration, Alexander also died in Babylonian, which is Iraq in modern days world. So he also died in 326 BC. So that was Alexander's story, but the context was the focus. If you can focus, trust me, time will follow you. Time will be yours. There's an apna time aayega. Apna time tabhi aayega when we focus.
Yeah, that is what he also talk about. Have that. What is meaningful to you? Time is going to be that only, but invest that into what is meaningful, rather than just spending your time. Invest it. That's all. Yeah. I think so.
This is a very meaningful time that we are all spending together.
Right.
Exactly.
So, any questions to Dr. Jyoti?
Yeah. This is Suresh here. I got one question to Dr. Jyoti. Yeah. You are talking about the balancing, no? Balance the roles at home, at your office, and all. Does he say anything about how man balance with his mother and wife, especially in India?
I'll take one more session for that.
She's a relationship coach. I'm charging for that.
And Dr. Jyoti, that would not get completed. That would not get completed in one session also. So we grant you as many you want. Till we arrive at unanimous solution.
No, you cannot. Once you find a solution for one set, another set will create another problem.
No, but
So
for
this is
this
never ending problem.
Suresh sir, there first
Ah.
things first doesn't come into picture.
What?
It's
But
an
it's not-
art.
Suresh
and
sir,
you
there
have to learn.
first things
Okay,
first
it's not
doesn't
so
come into
difficult.
picture.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And
that
no,
both should
also-
attend. It is
yeah.
not going to helpful if we attend.
Yeah, also,
Hey.
also Suresh sir, you should focus on second quadrant.
There's a ghazal by Pankaj Udas. ए गमे जिंदगी कुछ तो दे मशवरा, एक तरफ उसका घर एक तरफ मैं कदा, मैं कहाँ जाऊं होता नहीं फैसला. तो shall I go?
That was on the lighter side, madam. But one thing which I really liked was the law of farming, which he has talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to wait for some things actually. You cannot, but nowadays people are not ready to wait actually. They want everything in fada, especially our younger generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I used to talk about in my training sessions, when you plant a coconut tree, you have to wait for 5 years at least.
Right.
I mean, I am into the share market training and all. People want instant. You have to, even a coconut tree will give only after 5 years. How do you expect within before 1 month, 2 months, they want the money to be doubled and all. I used to give this exam. Now I can quote Stephen Covey also in my training sessions.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for bringing a very nice topic and discussing with us all.
Yeah.
Thank you,
to hear
Jyoti.
from Uma, ma'am. She was saying, I hope I've been able to do justice to this subject.
I'm awed by the session and deep gratitude to all of you, actually, to Vijay sir, especially for organizing this. And I'm really awed and I've become a fan of you. And I like to attend more sessions. And
Yeah, definitely.
personally, I was a little low for the last 2-3 months due to some personal issues. Now I think I'm okay and I'm all set to ride the horse again. I'll also start preparing and I'll give my date very soon. And my kind request that you attend and review my.
Yeah, we are looking forward.
Thank you. And I remember when I attended Sanjay sir's session, after his session, I was weeping like some nursery child in a class. And because that day was a very bad day. I mean, that was a day I burst out of my emotions and I came out of my shell. And I once again, I'm sorry, Sanjay sir, again.
Come on.
Your session was beautiful, but otherwise don't take me offense. Now I have more courage, confidence, and compassion. All the three I've gained. Thank you.
So any nursery rhymes, ma'am?
Sorry?
Any nursery rhymes?
For me, no.
Yeah, from,
About?
because you said you cried like a nursery child.
Yeah.
So why can't you narrate a nursery rhyme? Recite a nursery rhyme.
Oh, which rhyme?
He's just pulling the leg.
Okay. The wise old owl sat on an oak. The more he heard, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why aren't we all like a wise old owl?
Very good.
Very apt, huh?
That was instant.
Also
Yes.
Full packed with that meaning.
Exactly.
into the rhyme.
Exactly.
Meaningful.
Her leg was strong. Rajesh could not pull it.
But the purpose was met.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
No, don't be emotional, ma'am. We all have our own stories and we have to live with it. That's life.
That's my weakness, actually. I have to overcome it.
We'll convert that weakness to strength. Don't worry.
Yes, this family has already done it so much. Now I'm going to develop more.
Nita.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Happy even
Much
Tina also joined today and just a couple of minutes before she left the so even in this situation also she ensures that she's getting some kind of happiness hearing the book club conducting some of the other session regarding some good books. So she said, I don't want to miss it. I'll join Vijay. So today also she had joined.
Yeah, she was there. I think she left.
That was nice.
Yeah, she left.
She left.
Why are others silent? It's not a paid thing. You can please speak. At least we can hear your voice and
Sorry, Rajesh?
nobody is speaking. Only 2 or 3 people are speaking. I feel like I have hijacked.
Yeah, everybody. This is a kind of open forum. Everybody are welcome to talk.
Yeah, Vivek's a nice house, sir.
Yeah, maybe I would like to hear from Sanjay, our own expert on the subject.
No, of course, Jyoti. This is wonderful. See, the beauty about this Stephen Covey book is whether we talk about the 7 habits or we talk about first things first, it is like a benchmark and guide for everybody.
Right.
When I read this book, quite I mean, almost it's 8 to 10 years back. I don't exactly recall every particular lesson, but of course, you refreshed me. You helped me refreshing many things. So this is particularly a guide which you would require at every step of your life. And as I think somebody said, somebody mentioned that in today's generation, they want everything quickly and instantly. Like, so what they are missing out on is the life experiences, what can be achieved by moving slow and working only on priorities. See, this was not more of a time management, but as Rajesh also mentioned, that it is basically if we get our priorities right, if we know what to focus on, I think we are sorted. See, it doesn't matter whether you do that thing in the morning or you do that thing in the evening or afternoon. The important thing is you get it done. You get it done, you get it on time, and then you are satisfied, contented, and happy with the outcome. So this is Stephen Covey is a master. He has gotten into depth of everything, and I thought that it would be so difficult for you, Jyoti, to manage to bring him on the platform for 40 minutes and trying to explain his book. It is commendable. It is commendable, but then also you extracted out the major essence of what was required. So we have a huge takeaway from this book. And as always, it is your subject expertise, and when you speak, you have that command, and you are so much into depth of that understanding that it conveys to all the readers as we sit as readers. So that was a beautiful experience what I had. And although I never wanted to miss this particular day when you were narrating this book, when you were making a review. So this is wonderful. So as we say that everybody needs to move beyond I, me, and mine. You see, when Dr. Jyoti, you narrated 4 closing points today, right? After summarizing everything. If we all see very clearly and very practically, logically, in last 15 months, all these points have been automatically ingrained in our life. See, we started understanding what is important in life. We started understanding what is interdependence. We started understanding what is cooperation. We understood synergies. We understood holistic approach and outlook towards everything. We started focusing on what is right. So this is ultimately when the crisis come, when the challenges come, no, these readings which are already imbibed in us, like whenever you have read it 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, or you have listened from somebody's mouth, it is already there, but it surfaces out at the right time. So when I see last 15 months, everything what you have closed down as a summary is something we all experienced in real. So beautiful ending and a wonderful 40 minutes completely paisa vasool. So that was very nice. Yes.
संजय भाई कितना पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया था मुझे तो नहीं पता है.
Time invest किया. Time is money.
Focus is the new money.
So मजा आ गया. It was very nice. Yes.
First of all, thanks, Dr. Jyoti. You're wonderful sharing. Definitely, most of us knows the importance of time and time management, but still this holistic approach definitely adds a lot of value. I like this 4 points what you have captured, that is live, that is physical need, love is social need, learn is our we can say self or
mental needs.
Mental
need, and then leave a legacy is our spiritual need. These 4 points I liked very much. Definitely everybody would like to leave a legacy, but then one has to go through these or pass through these 3 stages also, then only we can leave a legacy. And also I like your 4 points which you capture at the end of this session, that somebody or one has to focus on this particular important points rather than urgent. One should work as in with team, as in with cooperation, or we can say interdependent. And then one should have a holistic approach when we look towards a life. and as well as one should also find out a meaning of a life. If we do not have a specific mission or could be vision, definitely it may not be possible. And last beautiful points we have already captured, and nothing can bring a peace in yourself without you. So these are all important points which you got it us. And then definitely within this 30 minutes you gave a detailed information that is really nice. A lot of people share the story also. I like this Alexander story which Raut sir had shared. So thanks first of all, Dr. Jyoti, for sharing a lot of value adds information. Definitely, I have not went through this book, but these really recap a lot of things. And thanks for sharing. Basically, when I used to attend your other sessions, that is right, Swachman, Swaman, where you capture maximum pictures. The difference which I notice only here is that you are beautifully capture all the points, but there were no picture. That's what only the difference which I could capture, because I love pictures a lot of time. But then this also gives important points. This point also, when we go through, we'll learn a lot of things. So thank you once again, Dr. Jyoti, for sharing.
Thank you, Ganesh, for those lovely words. Yeah, for me also it was like I like those pictures, but here I have to give, it's like someone's work. I should be able to do the justice to it. It's not my own just learnings, right? So thank you, Vijay, once again for giving this opportunity.
It was a wonderful session.
And to start this whole thing. And thank you, Deepika, to give the real beautiful name, Books and Beyond.
Right.
Yes, this is a wonderful name, Books and Beyond, of course.
Yes, I leave upon to Sanjay sir to give the word of thanks and end this session for today.
Oh, thank you, Vijay. That's an honor. And of course, like before we close for the day, before we go for our cup of tea, I would just like to mention, Vijay, if it is not offensive to anybody, we can start calling each other by first name or the last name, but not sir, because I just want it to be little informal and more friendlier, because we are here to share few things at the same level, like we are learning, everybody's learning at the same level. So just if everybody is fine, we can either use the first name or the last name, but we avoid talking about sir or madam or ma'am. So that is one thing.
But,
and ultimately,
sorry to interrupt, but I have already added one extra word to Rajesh. Rajesh Bhai. He's not only Rajesh, he's Rajesh Bhai.
Yeah, Dr. Jyoti, you don't have to worry. Rajesh will pakka your bhai.
See, this इस गरीबी में राखी के टाइम में कुछ नहीं दे सकता.
राजेश अभी टाइम है, don't worry.
Just to mention, my brother, my real brother is also here, Govind Toshniwal. Thank you, Govind, for attending.
Oh, nice.
I withdraw all my statements.
Jyoti madam is not giving up. She wants to ensure, reconfirm again and again. Bye.
दिमाग में डालो.
जितनी ज्यादा भाई है अच्छा ही है ना लाइफ में.
Better, next time राखी भेज देना आप.
So now we move little further from Raksha Bandhan now. We do have plenty of time to reach to Raksha Bandhan, but it's good, like the relationship is being formed, so that's quite heartening. And ultimately, yes, so we are closing down for today. Thanks for wonderful participation. We had a very, very good presence. This forum is always interactive and absolutely proactive as far as book reading, listening, and giving feedback is concerned. So we meet again once again very soon next Saturday with some beautiful book review and of course a very interesting book, and the new things which Vijay has also mentioned about 2 or 3 new initiatives that all sounds interesting. We can of course start implementing it step by step so that we can experiment and then approve them. That is wonderful thing. So thank you once again, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Jyoti, as a speaker today.
Thank you.
And thank you, and give a big round of applause for everybody, all the participants, as well as for the speaker. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And have a great cup of tea and have a great evening, everybody. Over to Vijay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, yes, somebody was speaking now. Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for the lovely closure. Well, I'm just ending this recording for now. Let's catch up soon next week. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
It
Thank
has
you
been
so
really
much.
wonderful to connect with you all. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.